Prime Minister Anthony Albanese is deciding who will be in his cabinet following Labor's thumping win on the weekend. 16 seats are still too close to call, with the vast majority of votes counted from Saturday's federal election. And among the tight contests is the seat of Melbourne, which is held by Greens leader Adam Bandt. He has suffered a 9% swing to Labor. Now, on the Liberal Party front, Shadow Defence Minister Andrew Hastie yesterday confirmed he would not be a candidate in the party's leadership ballot, leaving Shadow Treasurer Angus Taylor the favourite in a field that also includes Deputy Liberal leader Sussan and Shadow Immigration Minister Tehan. Now, Liberal politicians past and present are continuing to voice recriminations for the Coalition's landslide election loss, with many blaming poor communication with the public and pointing to the party's failure to win over women. There are now growing calls for the party to look at quotas to boost the number of women in their ranks and win back more female voters. Political reporter Isabel Rowe has the latest from Parliament House.
With the pulling out of Andrew Hastie from this contest, there remains three people probably most likely to contest the Liberal leadership. They are the Deputy Leader Sussan, the Shadow Treasurer Angus Taylor and the Shadow Immigration Minister Tehan. Now, Angus Taylor is probably one of the more high-profile people. Of course, the Shadow Treasurer took a major role in the campaign, but there has been criticism both privately and publicly about the Coalition's economic policy, and there are people like Liberal Senator Holly Hughes, who we heard from yesterday, saying that she doesn't believe that Angus Taylor is up to leading the party. There are other concerns that the party is leaning too far to the right, that some of those comments in the campaign that were likened to Donald Trump-style politics are not where it should be going. It should be coming back to the centre. And therefore, Angus Taylor, who is part of the right part of the party and is being supported by the Conservative wing, potentially not the person that many of those backbenchers will feel is the best person to lead. So it will be interesting to see where that goes. We heard from the Foreign Minister Penny Wong as well this morning. She was asked what she thought happened to the Liberal Party on Saturday night.
I think if you look at the metropolitan electorates around the country, overwhelmingly, Australians who live in cities and suburbs looked at the Liberal Party and said, you don't represent my aspirations, you don't reflect the things I'm worried about, you don't reflect where I want to go. That is the clear message from the election.
Isabel, there's been a lot of concern from female members of the Liberal Party in the last 24 hours. What are they saying?
Look, this conversation about women in the Liberal Party came up at the last election. It is coming up again. There are several female members of the party who may lose their seats, some of those seats too close to call. And there are concerns from both people in the party, people outside the party or adjacent to it who think that the party needs to have the conversation about gender quotas. Again, it's come up before and the party's rejected it. But, for example, we've heard this morning from Liberal Senator Maria Kovacic. She's a senator in New South Wales. She says it is something that the party needs to have another think about. We've heard as well from Charlotte Mortlock, who runs the Hilmers Network, and that's a group that tries to get women into the Liberal Party. She says that the average Liberal Party member is a male in his 70s. The average Australian is a 37-year-old female voter, and she says if the party can't speak to some of those average Australians, she says, in her words, we deserve to keep losing. And it's not just women. We've heard also late yesterday from former Liberal Senator Simon Birmingham. He also said that the party does need to reconsider this issue of quotas. He says it's an illiberal concept, but he says that he struggles to think of any alternatives to help the party attract more women.